Hello, today we'll be speaking to Seetal. She's the head of content at Timber Media. She'll be telling us a little bit about radio jockeying and other things in the radio world. Hello, Sheetal.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. What is it that really first inspired you to get into being on the radio?
The first thing I think was the fact that I found a job with a radio station. I wasn't supposed to have been a radio jockey when I joined them, but when I sort of got an idea of what it is that they would be expected to do on air, it sounded like it was something that I wouldn't mind giving a shot. So I wouldn't say it was inspiration, it was more circumstances that led me into radio.
Okay. And as the head of content at Timber Media, what is it that you really do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, so the company, Timber Media, is into packaging music and non-music content for anybody who requires music, either an individual who wants to listen to some good music, or a telecom operator, or even a corporate company that wants a music radio station only for their employees. There are a variety of people that we cater to. So my role is basically in ensuring that we have different kinds of content products for people who might require our kind of expertise.
Okay. And what is it that you find is the best part of your job?
I think the best part of my job, and I would imagine it's the best part of everybody's job, is being with like-minded people, finding resonance in the kind of people that you work with, and enjoying putting together something. It doesn't really matter whether you bake a cake together or you do a radio station together, but if you're having fun doing it, I think that's really the most important thing.
Okay. And what type of people do you think would be good at, radio jobs and other?
Well, it's difficult to really define the person, because in my experience, I've been about 11 years in radio, 12 years really. I've seen a variety of people from a variety of walks of life: engineers, dentists, doctors, lawyers, etc., trying out radio and doing really well at radio as well. So I wouldn't say that there is a particular skill set, but it helps if you know your music. It helps. That's if you're on a station that is about music. It also helps if you know your city. If you're on an FM station, you know the local language. It also, of course, fundamentally, you need to be a thinking person. And I think that's true of any job, really. And you need to be articulate. So that's what you need to be.
Okay, and most people just, on the radio, they hear the radio jockeys, and they don't really understand what other work goes into that. So can you just elaborate a little bit on the different jobs which go into making a radio station?
Right. So a radio station needs to have, like a newspaper, an editorial mandate. So I would say a newspaper would say, my front page will have this kind of news, second page, that kind, there'll be a humor section and so on. So you plan a radio station pretty much in the same way, saying my morning show is going to be about this, afternoon show is going to be about that, evening, and so on. So either the music is going to be different. So there is someone who is the editor, or we call them the program director of the station.
Yeah.
So they decide what goes on the station, how it's going to sound, what are the kind of RJs you're going to enlist on your station, and so on. You will also figure out what music you are going to play on the station. So that all of this happens right in the beginning. Do you want to be a Kannada station if you're in Karnataka, for example, or a regional language station, or do you want to be an English or a Hindi station, etc.? All these things are determined by a whole lot of other commercial considerations as well. So once you've done that, on a daily basis, the playlist needs to be ready for the entire day. So there is a music manager or a programming person who is looking at the playlist for an entire 24-hour, block of days. So every show typically has a certain set of songs that are determined by what the station wants to play to the listeners. The jocks rarely ever, the biggest misconception is that jocks select the music. That doesn't happen.
Just till now thought that too.
Right. Jocks very often don't select their music. There are some jocks who are allowed to do that, but then that's a privilege that you earn after a long time. And I don't think too many commercial FM stations allow the jock to really program their own music, unless you're doing a specialist show. If you're a music expert, then you will bring your music expertise, and therefore you will select your songs. But typically on FM stations, that's not what happens. We don't, of course, have anything to do with the FM business as of now. So we are mostly on the genre-based radio station area. So we have people who get to select their own songs because they are considered experts in music. So they put together their music, and of course, if in a commercial station, ads, that needs to be taken care of. If you've committed to a client, you have X number of ads, playing out per hour, then you need to make sure there's a department that handles the integration of your, what you call traffic, into your playlist, into your programming. RJ comes into the studio, has planned out what they need to be saying. It could be interviews with people in the city. It could be interviews with celebrities. It could be putting callers on air, taking requests and all of that. So that really is part of what the RJ does in the studio. But there's a whole lot that happens.
Yeah.
Imaging, all the swooshes and sound effects and the jingle that you hear that most radio stations have. That's something that needs to be planned and thought out right in the beginning. And there is a time period you need to refresh those elements, otherwise people get bored of listening to the same. You're listening to so and so radio station. You need to say it in different ways. So the people that work on the sound and imaging or the production aspects of any radio station. So there are many things. The studio equipment needs to be in order. Your infrastructure for your transmission needs to be in order. So there is an entire team that looks after that aspect of ensuring that there is no break in transmission or dead air, because that is a complete no-no on the radio. So there are plenty of things. And then of course you have admin, sales, marketing, all of these guys who support the radio station's activities.
Okay, and if you wanted to become a radio jockey, after school or after another job, are there any like professional training or anything like that you need to get into?
There are. I have to confess that I haven't really kept abreast of what is available to people in manner of training if they want to become radio jockeys. But I am aware of the fact that there are a lot of people who run courses for people to learn to throw their voice, modulate, do RJ links as we call them, and all of that. But I don't believe that these are absolutely essential if you want to be a radio jockey. You can even come and train on the job and see if you like it, and then if you're good at it, you get hired. Commercial FM stations may not have the time to spend on newbies to train them, but there are other companies that could offer that kind of opportunities to people.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I'm sure our viewers will really enjoy this video.
Thank you so much.